How's it going out there, Ski Rex Media fans and Ski Rex Media podcast fans? It is I, Tim from Ski Rex Media, coming at you once again for our weekly trip into the ski, snow, snowboarding, snow sports, this, that, and the other, winter sports, whatever you want to call it, that world. Yes, we're going into that world. And today we're going to be going into more of the leadership of the industry, and we'll get into that in a moment. But first, I want to get into my favorite mountain, one of my favorite mountains, the mountain I ride mostly in the winter now, my home mountain, Whaleback Mountain. I love Whaleback Mountain. I've been saying that for weeks and months and now a couple years. This season, I've been promoting it hard as a partner. Yes, I love Whaleback, and I think you would too. Check out Whaleback Mountain in Enfield, New Hampshire. A great little mountain with a lot of good times. You will love it. Their tagline is "Ski it to believe it," and I think you should. Head out there and ski Whaleback Mountain. Super easily accessed. It has its own exit off the interstate, exit 16 off I-89 in Enfield, New Hampshire. The price is right. I think the most expensive ticket before tax, and I don't even think they're taxed in New Hampshire. I don't know, but it's like $50. The ski pass the season pass, that is not badly priced at all. I bought it wicked early for $2. I don't think it tops out at much more than that. Head over to Whaleback Mountain, head over to whalebackmountain.com, check it out. Also find them on social media, Whaleback Mountain, search it out, you'll find it. Search it Google Maps, tell Google Maps to give you directions and head out there. It's very easy to find. It's a wonderful time to ski. It has natural terrain, it has groomed terrain, it has everything you could ever want, glades, trees, you name it. They'll teach you how to do it, all of that. It is wonderful. Whaleback Mountain, ski it to believe it. So before we go too much further, actually, before we get into today's interview, how did you like last week having the double episodes, right? 2 episodes because I blew it on release dates, and that's just something I do. I blow it. I biff. And when I do, I admit it and I own up to it. So last week you had episodes from Wendy Clinch and Kimberly Kay, and I hope you enjoyed them both, and I hope you enjoy today's as well. Today's is another repeat offender here on the old Ski Rex Media podcast. This is someone who's been on the program at least once before, and I always have a good time talking to this gentleman. And here he is again, one of my favorite people in the industry, has been since I started using the Indy Pass, the founder, the man himself, Doug Fish. How you doing, sir?
Awesome, Tim. Thank you for having me on again.
Always happy to have you on. It's very interesting to see what's going on. Now, the last time Doug was on was about a year ago, and so much has happened in the last year with Indy Pass. They are now up to 107, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes, I think that's the number, Tim. I stopped tattooing it on my arm because it keeps changing.
Fair enough. I'm sure that takes up a lot of room on the old body. But hey, you might get that record. I think the record was like 98% of the body. You could beat that with the way Indy's going. Yeah, absolutely, so. With the way Indy's going. 107. What is that like?
It's really cool. We're having a lot of fun. We've also got another 10 allied partners, and we expect that list to grow. And we're adding new partners every month. We've added over 40 since the end of the season, and that includes 13 cross country resorts. We expanded into to the Nordic world for this coming season, and we're really excited about that. There's just a lot of growing interest about Indy resorts, and we're here to help people find a new place to have fun on the snow.
Absolutely, and it will totally do that. Like, I love Indy Pass as a travel pass, for finding new places, for finding even coming into places that I know. And I guess we'll start with the Indy Ally. We're going to try and keep this short, succinct. We're going to try and keep Doug efficient here. He's got things to do. He's a very important man. So we're going to start with the Indy Ally. Now, this one was funny from a personal standpoint because I live 15 minutes down the road from Whaleback Mountain. Uh-huh. I am partnered with Whaleback Mountain. I have my Whaleback Mountain season pass. Love it. Talk to John Hunt a lot. Now, I says to John, like the day after it got announced, I was like, wow, dude, thanks for telling me. Appreciate it. And he's like, look, dude, these things. And I was like, no, I totally get it, but it is very interesting. Now, the Indy Ally, that's 40 to 50% off at certain times at mountains. It's not one or your 2 days mountains, right?
That's right. And you get 25% off on the weekend or a holiday. and 50% off every other day of the season. It's that simple. And that's if you're an Indy Pass holder. And season pass holders like yourself, Tim, at Whaleback or any of our allied partners, they can buy the Indy Pass at about a 30% savings. That's the pass that we call our Indy add-on pass, because you add it onto your season pass, and it gives you 2 days at all of our resorts, except for your home mountain where you have a season pass. This is a way for us to get some of the smaller resorts involved in the Indy revolution, and in
Sure.
areas like New England. In New Hampshire in particular, where we have a lot of resorts. We have 4 full partners in New Hampshire, and 4 in Vermont, now 3 in Maine. And if we get too many partners in a concentrated area like that, then people are going to start, they're not going to buy a season pass, and the last thing we want to do is cannibalize season passes for our partner resorts. And so this is a way that we can continue to expand in areas like New England, the Upper Midwest, and the Pacific Northwest, where we have a lot of density, and virtually every Indy resort in the country can participate in the program and derive some benefit from it.
Totally. And that was something you and I talked about last season, was how much more you were going to be able to do in New England, because there was already so many. And the only one since then that has been added that's full Indy partner is the one in Maine. I can't remember its name, but it is out there.
Well, actually, we added 2 in Maine, Tim. Big Rock is probably the one you're referring to. It's in way up in northern Maine, but we also added Black Mountain of Maine, and that's a little closer to I think the Portland market and to New Hampshire. It's a oh gosh, maybe an hour from Saddleback. So we're really excited now to have 3 in Maine, and 2 of those will be new for next season.
Absolutely. See, I forgot about the black, because that makes 2 blacks, the one in New Hampshire and the one in Maine. The one in New Hampshire stayed on, right?
Oh yeah, they're one of our favorites. They'll be there forever, I think.
I think so too. That place is great. I really enjoy going there. I've been there before. I like it.
Yeah.
It's
both the blacks are great little hills. I love them both.
Oh, they're so good. Well, Indy Mountains are good anyway. There hasn't been one that I haven't liked, and I've been to all 4 in Vermont. I think almost all 4 in New Hampshire.
Great.
Maybe, I don't know. There's so many now; it's hard to keep track. And I love that. The other one in Maine that's not black, you just said it, and I already blanked. But
Saddleback,
and the third one, that's like 4 hours beyond Saddleback. Like that is a haul. That's practically Canada.
It is, and they draw primarily out of Nova Scotia. Actually, they are way up there, but what the heck? They wanted to be a part of the program, and they were actually referred to us by the folks at Saddleback, so it worked out pretty good.
That's awesome. I get a kick out of it. I still say, as an old retail guy back in the days of CDs and DVDs, you hear those street date announcements. So every Tuesday, that's when the new stuff would hit the shelves.
Right.
Indy's kind of been like that. It's like exciting. What's going to happen next Tuesday? Who's jumping in? You see bets. I swear there's Vegas odds makers out there watching what you do, man.
I don't think so, but if they want to, that's fine.
I'm fine with gambling, man. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I am too. I started a ski pass.
Yeah, that's about the biggest gamble you can do, but seems to be paying off, because another big thing, like the Indy Allied is big. And again, that's a personal thing for me as well, because I love Whaleback. I'm always there. Awesome. And then for here, you got, what do you got? Skiway, Back and Tire, Bosque down yonder, Burke, those are the New Englands.
Yeah.
Where are the other 5? And Middlebury, yes.
Middlebury, oh gosh, you're going to make me go by memory, and that's always dangerous. But, we've got one in Washington State. We have one in Wisconsin, Paul Bunyan in Wisconsin. Boy, oh boy, we started with 6 in New England. I apologize. I don't have my I don't have my cheat sheet in front of me, but you can expect,
nobody can fault you.
There's going to be a lot more. I promise you, there's going to be a lot more of these allied partners, and we hope it brings them some revenue and some new guests that haven't been there before. 85% of our pass holders last year told us that they visited a first time resort. that they had
Nice.
never been to, and I think that's what the Indy Pass is all about.
I agree. Like myself, this will be my third season using the Indy Pass, and there's still places I haven't been. There's no way. If
Hmm.
anybody thinks they can get all of them, I would like to see it.
Yeah, no, it's impossible now. We've got 5 in Japan, and it's.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's enough days in the season, and you'd have
No,
to have your own helicopter, I think, or something.
you
But
would. You could do it
uh,
lifetime.
oh yeah, lifetime for sure. That's my goal. I just
Nice.
we keep adding them faster than I can get to them.
See that even Doug, the man in charge, can't get to them all. So see, because people fault me all the time for the same thing. Do you know which one? I was like, dude, there's so many. I
Yeah.
can't remember them all. And congrats to whoever can. If somebody else out there has it memorized, let me know. That'd be interesting. I'll give you a
Yeah.
shirt if you can recite all 107 in not one breath, but in one sitting without looking at it. You got to do it in person.
That would be impressive.
That would be something. Now, speaking of all your gets, you all picked up a big one, and it's not an allied partner. Mount Hood is a full partner, right? 2 days out there.
Yes, yes. Now, for you New Englanders, Mount Hood actually has 5 ski resorts on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge volcano about 60 miles from Portland. That's my hometown, and Mount Hood is my home mountain. And we picked up the largest resort on Mount Hood, and that is Mount Hood Meadows. We're just thrilled about that. It's a huge win for us. Like I said, it's my home mountain. I met my wife there, and we're just thrilled to share that great mountain with so many of our pass holders.
That's a place. That place. I mean, I've heard the area is huge. Anyway, I've never been to Oregon,
Hmm.
but you see Mount Hood Meadows all the time. They have one of the latest seasons. People are
Hmm.
skiing there in like July, I think.
That's Timberline Lodge.
That's
So
Timberline.
Timberline is kind of on the south slope of the mountain. Meadows is a little more on an eastern facing slope, but it has we ski well into May at Meadows. They're open usually by Thanksgiving or earlier, and the terrain is just phenomenal. They have 2,100 acres. Oh gosh, something like 2,000, 2,500 vertical, and it's just really great, varied terrain. Really, some of the best terrain I've ever skied. And I didn't realize how great a mountain it was until I started this pass and started traveling all over the country and visiting, other resorts. And I thought, man, Meadows has got it going on here. So yeah, it's a real great pickup for us. We've also added down in California 2 wonderful mountains in Dodge Ridge and Mountain High. Dodge Ridge is the closest resort to the Bay Area, and Mountain High is the closest area to Los Angeles. So we're going to be able to tap into those markets a little more with those great resorts. And we've got an announcement coming up next week. We're adding one more resort in Colorado. We'll be adding 2 more in the Midwest. Two pretty significant resorts in the Midwest. We're just continuing to spread the love.
It is a juggernaut. Stop it if you want to try. You'll just get run over. And that's cool. We're all cool with that. But that's all of us Alpine folks. And, again, there's obviously more Alpine hills on the Indy Pass than cross country and Nordic, but that's actually very interesting. And it feels a little unique because my cross country knowledge is like I biffed between Timberline and Mount Hood. Like I got them mixed up.
Hmm.
Mount Hood Meadows. Okay, that's fine. That's on me. I'm a New Englander. What do you want? But
Yeah, no, I get it. Uh,
107 mountains we're talking about here. Come on, guys, give me a break. But anyway, cross country, that seems unique. I don't know if there's another cross country like season pass other than like maybe a place's personal pass, but like a mega pass type of product. That's unique, isn't it? Or no?
yes, it is. I think there are some regional passes, like a statewide associations that have passes, but no one's doing it on a national basis. And we we were approached by our very first Nordic resort, Sovereign Lakes in Alberta, Canada. And I thought, no, we don't do cross country. This is a Nordic, or this is an Alpine pass. And then the more I thought about that, the more I thought, well, why not? there's probably a lot of people that cross over and do both. So hey, let's add Sovereign Lakes and see what happens. Well, we added the pass, or we added the resort, and it's the largest. They have 158 kilometers of trails. It's just massive.
Wow.
We added them, and unfortunately, the border was closed last year, so nobody could get there. But
Sure.
it got us to thinking, and then we were contacted by the Cross Country Ski Areas Association, which is based there in Vermont, Woodstock, Vermont, as a matter of fact. And we got talking with Reese Brown there, and thought, you know what, this makes a lot of sense. There are give or take 10 million alpine skiers in the U.S., and there are 5 million cross country skiers in the U.S. And there are about, there's a large percentage of people, I think it's like 1.5 million people, who say they do both.
Yeah.
So, we decided, why not? Let's give it a shot. There was a lot of interest from the cross country community, and we signed up a number of resorts right away in the spring. But if you have an Indy Pass, the regular, we'll call it the Alpine Indy Pass, but the Indy Pass, base pass, you can access all those cross country resorts 2 days at each, just like you would, an Alpine resort. And if you happen to be a Nordic skier and you only want to go to the Nordic resorts, you can buy the cross country pass for just $69, and it gives you 2 days, 2 trail passes at each one of those resorts. So it's just a screaming deal, and it's all about sliding on snow. I don't care if you're on a pair of GS skis or a snowboard or a pair of skinny skis. It's all about sliding on snow, and I think everybody can relate to that.
I think you're right. I think we all have that kinship. Get on your equipment, whatever it may be, and then get
Hmm.
on the snow. Now
Yeah.
you brought up Reese Brown, and that's cool. I'm talking to him later in the season, so everybody tune in for that. And that's another beautiful thing, because not only is he based out of Woodstock and the organization he runs, but the Woodstock Nordic Center is also in Woodstock,
Hmm.
which is also 10-15 minutes the other way from Whaleback from me. I'm like in Indy Pass Ground Zero here in the Upper
You
Valley.
are, you are, no kidding. Wow.
Like I can hit everything in an hour, maybe two, except for the stuff
Uh-huh.
that's way out in Maine, like Saddleback. That's like 3 hours. But
Yeah.
I can
Nice.
hit anything. But yeah, the Nordic scene here is pretty good. There's two in Vermont, Reichert in the Woodstock Center, Waterville
Hmm.
Valley. So,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
Waterville Valley is also, you have now, is it two, like for Waterville Valley, would that be two Alpine days, two Nordic days, or just two total?
4 days.
4 days. So you can go 2 days and you're like, well, I want two more, and you can get on the other way. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
This one was interesting to me though. Where is it? I have to look at it again because I forget the actual name. High Point Cross Country Ski Center up there in Sussex, New Jersey. Who knew that was even
Yes.
there?
Reese Brown did.
He is cross country ski area association there. He would know. Now I lived in New Jersey for many years, down the shore though, not up in North Jersey, not in the Delaware Water Gap area. I've never actually even skied at Mountain Creek. What do
Hmm.
I know?
Yeah, yeah. I've
But
skied there. It's a good mountain. It's a big mountain, and New Jersey gets cold.
gets
There's
cold.
snow in New Jersey. There's a lot of people there, and there's some beautiful terrain. And although I've been there myself, there's information about all of our Nordic resorts on our website, and High Point is one of them.
That was very interesting to me when I saw that. Like the two in Vermont, Reichert and over here in Woodstock, I've heard of them, driven past them dozens of times. But I
Hmm.
saw High Point. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
wow, look at
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
And
we've got a great one down in New Mexico. We've got one up in Minnesota, and we expect to sign quite a few more. That those folks, they take the summer off. It's not as intense running a cross country resort as it is an alpine resort. So they kind of, hit the hills, or they leave the hills. I don't know what you'd call it, but we're going to be contacting and doing outreach to more Nordic resorts this fall, and I think you'll see a big announcement coming up in a month or two about that.
All these great announcements. I love it. And I love the idea of adding the cross-country resorts. I've been thinking about trying it out. Like I did it back in high school, but it's been a minute since high school for me. And I've been looking for an excuse to get in. And I mean, the Indy Pass has just gotten you, it just has you covered on all bases. The thing I noticed, and you can get all the information out there about this at indyskipass.com for those who don't know. I know a lot of SkiRex Media fans and listeners are Indy Pass holders. We love it. We abuse it the best we can. Last March, you saw a lot of my pictures coming out with our group. The fans from Pennsylvania came out. We were at Jay. We were at Waterville. We were at Matt. Wherever we were, it was all Indy stuff.
That's great.
Though I do have one question. It's going to sound like a jerked off question. I don't mean it to be. There has been, I've heard little bits. It hasn't hit but one of the big things in the world is overuse or being overcrowded, that maybe the Indy Pass has caused some of that at some of those smaller places. Have you heard anything like that yet?
It's we had a couple days at a couple of resorts, one day each at two resorts, where the conditions were perfect. It was a Saturday, sunny, fresh snow, and the Indy Pass holders showed up in mass, and created some lines at the lift at the ticket window for sure. But it's just it's only a 2-day pass. It's not an unlimited pass or a 7-day pass where thousands and thousands of people have unlimited access to these resorts. So it's just not going to do the same thing as other multi-mountain passes. I will say though that we have some strategies in place, some blackouts basically, that will prevent that from happening in the future. And some of our resorts are close to major metropolitan areas, particularly in the east, and it's going to happen. So rather than turn people away or have your parking lot fill up, they're going to black out those peak holidays, and the base pass just isn't going to work there. And that's kind of how skiing is going to be. And some people will say, well, that makes it more of an elitist sport, that the people with the money have the access. But if you buy a concert ticket, you're going to pay more for the front row than you are for the the 300 level seats, right?
Yeah.
If you buy an airline ticket, you're going to pay more for first class than you are for the back of the plane. Sure. And that's kind of how things work, right? And there are only so many levers that you can use to regulate traffic in the ski business, and price is one of them. So
sure,
if you want to buy the base pass for $279 or $250 if you're a returning pass holder, then there's going to be a few blackouts, but there's still plenty of days you can use it. If you don't want to deal with blackouts, you pay $100 more and you get unlimited access. We, as you know, Tim, we pay a fee to our resorts each time someone uses their pass, and when they use their Indy Plus pass, which is our unlimited product, they get paid more money. And so they're happy to have those people show up on a peak day because we pay them almost full rack rate for that visit.
Totally.
And so, the Indy base pass, the payout is less than that, midweek and on weekends when they're not sold out, they're happy to have those people show up. So, I think that, other passes are doing this, resorts themselves are doing this. They have to regulate the traffic some way. There's a finite number of ski resorts, particularly in densely populated regions, and something's got to give. Population's growing, skiing is becoming more and more popular, and this is the way things are going to go, I think.
Maybe. I mean, it's totally cool with me. I didn't run into any of those days personally, but it's something that's being talked about, especially with the other company that'll remain nameless. At the same time, we've all talked about it. And we're like, you know what? Was it really that bad though? Like, was it really? Because again, some of us aren't at ground level for some of these things. I never go to Stowe if I can help it on a weekend. Like, it's a little town that's not meant to handle that much traffic anyway.
Right.
But was it really as bad as we thought? So nobody knows. And in my opinion, I just don't care. Ski when you can, and that, and learn your mountain. we've all said that, learn your mountain. Some people are all going to be on this 8-person chair. Go to the double. There's more runs over there.
Yeah, exactly. And, I think those of us who are, experienced riders and, we're out there 20, 30, 40 days a year, we kind of know the ins and outs. And it's unfortunate that people who are just getting into the sport, or maybe they haven't been in it for a while, they haven't learned those tricks yet, And so they show up on a Saturday morning and they try to get into the parking lot at 10 o'clock, and things aren't what they expect, and it's unfortunate, but hopefully the industry will continue to educate people and how to get the most value out of the sport, and we can avoid some long lift lines.
I think so. I think it'll be fine. I mean,
yeah.
It's going to be fine. We're all going. Plus, I mean, there's rumors out there of new stuff opening and things that are sitting closed that might get bought up and whatnot. There'll be more. There's enough room for everybody. You just got to look for it. And if you pay a couple extra bucks, it'll just be easier on you. But don't get suckered in by that per run model. I thought that was really goofy. But again, I think that was just a proof of concept, but I didn't get it. Whatever. Go with your Mega Pass, whichever one you can use. I suggest the Indy Pass because you have to be spitting distance from somewhere that's on the Indy Pass. Everybody is.
Yeah. And that's the idea. We want to be within a day trip for every skier in North America.
You are. And it's a cool pass anyway. Very easy to purchase. It almost a single pass. Like you do have your tiers, the Indy Base, the Indy Plus, and the Indy Cross Country. And then you can get get them as add-ons and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But within those, it's like a tiered pass. It's like you get 2 days here, then you get 2 days at cross country, then you get a discount at others. It's a tiered pass right off the bat with no extra thought. Yeah. It's wonderful.
There's a discount on lodging at dozens of lodging partners all across the country, and it's the most affordable way to ski at multiple mountains there is.
Absolutely. It's wonderful. You'll get out there, you'll travel. I love it. I mean, maybe I'm biased, whatever. I use it. I love it. I'm not a charter member, but I was there for second year and on. So,
good job, attaboy.
Absolutely. Like when I first saw it come out, I was like, oh, that's very interesting. And the next season I was all over it. And again, I'm at places, I'm right up the road from Saskadina 6, and now there's nice. And then there's, the Indy Allied Whaleback, which I'm at anyway. Now, here's a question. I know you don't have a lot of time, but this one's for me.
Sure.
As passes continue to grow, you're starting to see overlap. Do you think that's going to be an issue? Like I have the Whaleback Pass. When you buy the Whaleback season pass, you're on the Freedom Pass. The Freedom Pass has McIntyre has, who I think is a couple of them, Greek Peak, maybe something else.
Yeah.
There's some overlap. Does that even matter or?
No, it doesn't to me. The Freedom Pass is a reciprocal program. You buy a season pass from one of those resorts and you get X number of days at the participating partner resorts. The reciprocal programs have been around for a long time. There's a big one in the West called the Powder Alliance. They've got about 20 partners on it, and 8 or 9 of them are on the Indy Pass. So those types of crossover I think are good and they're healthy. But currently, the 4 main paid passes, that is the Epic Pass, the Icon Pass, the Mountain Collective, and the Indy Pass, there is no crossover, and that's kind of written into the rules of being on those passes. Sure. I take that back. The Mountain Collective and the Icon Pass do have crossover because they've got some common ownership between those resorts and the management of those passes. But for the most part, they're distinctly different.
Sure, and again, that was just an interest of me to have a professional because I noticed it just recently. I don't know why, it just dawned on me. I'm like, geez, does that even matter? I need to ask a pro, someone who actually knows what they're talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. So,
yeah, I mean, if you buy a season pass, to a single mountain, it's very likely that it will come with some reciprocity to other mountains. Sure. But if you don't want to be, if you don't ski enough to justify a season pass, or you don't want to be tied to one mountain, then, there's all these multi-mountain pass options that you can take a look at. And, unfortunately they don't all share mountains, but you got to kind of pick and choose where you want to go.
Absolutely. And like we're both here suggesting Indy Pass. We love it.
Well, yes, I do too, and I would highly recommend it.
Absolutely. I say definitely recommend it. I recommend it. I think everybody should get it. Try it out. Try it out for a season. It's not super expensive. Like I said, there's a lot of the Ski Rex Media fans. We almost all of us have it, and we all live spitting distance from 2, 3. And again, the East is small.
Yeah.
We can get across New England in 8 hours. You can't even get across Colorado in 8 hours. So
yeah, no, it's an incredible region. I've skied it now. I've done 2 trips up there, and
nice.
you can drive for a half an hour between resorts. It's pretty convenient. That's for sure. Well, hey, I just want to mention too, Tim, that if any of your listeners don't have their Indy Pass, here's a shameless plug.
Nice.
The price goes up on September 13th, and it's going to go up by $30, which is 10%. It's at $299 now. A really great value. And if you purchase before September 2nd, our 4-month payment plan is in effect, and you can, you put down about $60 and you can get a pass for $60 a month. It spreads the payments out. There's no interest, no, application if you have to fill out or anything like that. So those are two couple of deadlines to keep in mind. Even after our next price increase, it's still a great deal, and we'll sell lots of passes going into the fall and the winter. But if you're really decided and you want to visit Indy Pass resorts this year, then get it before the 13th, and you'll save a few bucks.
There you go, everybody. Get it before the 13th. Save yourself a couple bucks and get a ton of great skiing. Doug is about at his hard out time, so we'll let him go for now, but we'll pick up with him later in the season because I love Doug. Everybody loves Doug. Great time. If you're in the East this winter, swing by Whaleback. I'll be there.
All right, Tim. Well, I love you too, baby, and I hope we make some turns together soon.
Oh, we will. In fact, we'll drag John up the mountain too. He skis much better than I do, so it's probably worth it anyway. So,
okay, great.
So there you go, everybody. Doug Fish. He'll be back later in the season, and just so you know, the price increases that we were talking about for the Indy Pass were dates in September. We were obviously recording this, and I forgot that I wouldn't be putting it out until October, so those dates have already gone past. But fear not, because if you follow me on social media, you heard that little bit of 2 minutes of the episode because I put it out on social media before the price increase. So if you want to know the current price of the Indy Pass, please go to indyskipass.com. There you can find all the information you need about the Indy Pass, how to buy one, how to use one, the different tiers, the different levels, all of the resorts that it covers, all 100 plus resorts. That includes alpine resorts, that includes cross-country resorts, that includes resorts from the Northeast here in New England to the Mid-Atlantic to the Midwest to the West to the Rockies to Alaska to Japan. There's Indy Pass all over the place. indyskipass.com, and you can find out all that information. And there's going to be a link in the description, in the show notes. Again, don't check that link right now if you are driving. Wait till you get to a stopping point. You don't want that ticket and you don't want to get hurt while using your cellular phone or other device behind the wheel of the car. Right? Right. Thank you again for joining me, Tim from Ski Rex Media, and thank you for Doug Fish as well. And thank you to Doug Fish as well for coming on the program again this season to talk about the Indy Pass. And like he said, we'll be back. He'll be back on the program later in the year. And you never know, we might even get to go and take some runs with him. How cool would that be? How cool would it really be if I could pull off the Doug Fish John Hunt ski day at Whaleback? That would be the sickness. And of course, you'll be able to find me at Whaleback pretty much all season. Of course, I will be visiting Indy Pass mountains too, whether they be partner mountains, Indy allied mountains, Indy cross country places. And speaking of cross country, we both brought up, well, actually initially Doug brought up Reese Brown from the Cross Country Ski Areas Association. He'll be on the program next week, so tune into that next Wednesday or this coming Sunday for Patreon subscribers. I've been plugging it hardcore lately. Patreon subscribers, which we just got another one, so that's awesome. I love it, and that person loves Ski Rex Media, so that's very cool, and you know who you are. I won't use your name because you didn't say I could, and I didn't ask, so that's on me. Patreon subscribers get early access to the podcast. You get it on Sunday. General audiences get it on Wednesday. Plus, there'll be bonus episodes that will be Patreon only, and you'll get a couple perks when it comes to the live program. And again, I have to figure out the live program, but I hope to be starting that when the snow starts flying around here, and that doesn't give me much time because there has been snow kicking around. There was snow at Mount Washington. There was snow, what was it, Smuggler's Notch or Sugar Bush, somewhere. I don't know. One of the S mountains had snow recently here in Vermont, and there are a few S mountains or mountains whose names begin with S's. In any case, head to Patreon, subscribe for early access and a couple other bonuses to Ski Rex Media. Follow Ski Rex Media on social media, the big four. A lot of people call the big three Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, but I had a fourth because Ski Rex Media and myself are on LinkedIn. Right. This is Tim from Ski Rex Media. Thank you for joining me. Join me again next week. I will see you out on the mountain. Head to skirexmedia.com to sign up for updates. Scroll down to the main page. You can sign up for updates, and in those updates, I'm going to be putting my ski schedule. So if you want to take a couple runs and you're going to be at the same place I am, let me know and we'll take runs. And of course, contact information at skirexmedia.com. You can send me emails, DMs, whatever you want. Right. All right, this closing is getting way too long. I am Tim from Ski Rex Media, and I will see you out there later.